The name Panathinaikos used to be associated with prestige, success and glory. A club full of rich history both domestically and in Europe, having pulled off spectacular results against some of Europe's elite clubs. In its glory days, the club became the only Greek team to reach a European Cup final, coming up against an Ajax team spearheaded by the legendary Johan Cruyff in 1971. Domestically, Panathinaikos are also associated with success, having won the Domestic League title 20 times, the Greek Cup 18 times, and the Greek Super Cup 4 times. In recent years, however, the prestige and success of the Panathinaikos brand in the footballing world has dramatically declined. And in the last 10 years, the Greens have only won the league title once and the Greek Cup twice, along with poor outings on the European stage. Today, that changes as we take this Greek juggernaut back to the top. To take on this challenge, we will be using GYR's Master of Puppets as our tactic, and this is how the team is looking, and I'm pretty happy with how the squad is shaping up for Season 1. Key players consist of Johan Cruyff in the left-back position, 𝗕𝗨𝗬𝗘 in defensive midfield, former Shakhtar and Everton winger Bernard, and Slovenian international striker 𝗕𝗨𝗬𝗘𝗡 to lead the line. In Season 1, we have a nice collection of competitions on the go, with both the Greek League and the Cup alongside the Europa Conference League, even if we do have to qualify for it. However, looking at the season preview, we're predicted to finish in 4th, with our arch rivals 𝗕𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗧 the bookies' favourites to lift the title. Before we get into the results of Season 1, FM24 is now available for you to pre-order, and you can save yourself up to 22% on the game using the link in the description, and make sure you use the code HOODFM at the checkout to save a little extra while supporting me as a creator. Starting off in the league, and we were largely consistent throughout the season, but failed in the big moments, losing games against PAOK, AEK Athens and Olympiacos. This meant that AEK lifted their first title since the 2017-2018 season, and we came in 3rd with a total of 79 points, which is actually 1 more point than Pana managed in real life. We were only 4 points adrift this season, so I feel with a good summer window and my actual recruitment, we can really close that gap for season number 2. The Greek Cup is played over 2 legs for every single round, and we kicked off our title defence by comfortably getting past Panathinaikos with a 1-1 draw on the road before beating them 3-0 at home. It was Aris up next in the quarterfinals, and we looked great in both games as we picked up a 4-1 win at home, with goals from Spora, Magnusson, Palacios and 𝗕𝗨𝗬𝗘𝗏 before winning 2-0 on the road, playing in the snow. This set up a semi-final tie against PAOK, and we were in fine goal-scoring form for this one. The first leg was on the road, and we managed to give ourselves a 2-goal advantage with a 4-2 win on the night, and we kept our shooting boots on in the second leg at home, banging in 5 goals to win the tie 9-3 on aggregate and advance into the Greek Cup final. It was a huge tie in the final as we came up against Olympiacos, and considering neither side won the league, the stakes were huge on this one. The game was cagey and tight until Andres Spora calmly slotted in the 80th minute to see us lift the trophy for the 20th time in the club's history. Interestingly enough, the cup final loss was enough for Olympiacos to sack their manager after a disappointing season. Sorry, mate. Lastly, we had the Europa Conference League to talk about, as we were able to qualify for that relatively comfortably even after losing the first game of the campaign. We had to get past Slavia Prague, who did manage to beat us at their place, but the return leg in Athens was much more comfortable as we ran out 3-1 winners. This set up a 4th qualifying round tie against Viborg from Denmark, and this was an even easier tie as we managed to pick up a 1-0 win on the road and a 2-0 win back at home to advance into the Conference League proper. We were drawn in Group D alongside Dnipro from Ukraine, Istanbul Başakşehir from Turkey, and Maribor from Slovenia. Our home form carried us through this group as we beat all 3 teams at home and picked up 2 draws on the road, with our other game ending in defeat as we lost in Istanbul. Those results meant that we finished 2nd in our group, but we did qualify for the knockout stages. In the knockouts, we were drawn against 3-time Danish champions FC Midtjylland. This was, however, where our continental adventure came to an end, as we lost the game on the road 2-1 and had a disappointing collapse at home, losing 3-0 on the night and losing the tie 5-1 on aggregate. Next season we will be in the Europa League, but our budget doesn't really reflect that, as we've only got £2.4 million in the transfer budget and £40,000 a week in the wage budget to work with. We were active in the transfer market going into Season 2, with 9 players departing the club and 4 players coming in. First up was Bulgarian international goalkeeper 𝗕𝗨𝗬𝗜 𝗕𝗨𝗬𝗜. Not only is he a great goalkeeper, but arriving on a free transfer is a great bit of business. At the back we picked up 𝗕𝗨𝗬𝗜 after his contract with Villarreal came to an end, and he looks like a perfect addition for this team. Moving into midfield, we secured the services of 𝗪𝗛𝗡𝗏 following his release from Benfica. This Portuguese youngster is amazing, and I have no idea why he gets released every single save. And finally, we picked up another Portuguese youngster in 𝗕𝗨𝗬𝗏, who can play on several key positions and is going to be deadly for us on the wing. Going into the season, this is how the team is looking, and I'm really happy with the balance of ability throughout this team. Competitions wise, we have the same 2 domestic comps, but we upgraded the Conference League into the Europa League for this season, even if we do have to qualify for it. After last season's 4th place finish, I'm looking to improve in the league this season, and odds-wise we're 5-1 to win the title and predicted to finish in 3rd, with 2 players now in the Media Dream 11. Domestically, things were much better this season. Throughout the season, we were able to pick up 27 wins, 6 draws and 3 losses, meaning we managed to win the league with a huge 87 points. This was largely down to 𝗕𝗨𝗬𝗜 going off in the league, scoring 33 goals, which was over double the 2nd highest goal scorer. Whilst we were good in the league, we were unable to win 3 Greek Cups in a row to really assert our dominance over the rest of Greece. We comfortably progressed through the 6th round against 𝗕𝗏𝗬, winning both legs of the tie 2-0. This set up a huge quarter-final against Olympiacos, where we massively disappointed the fans. We were on the road for the first leg, and Ahmed Hassan opened the scoring before Johan Cruyff received a straight red card for his tackle on 𝗕𝗨𝗬𝗏. In the home leg, we pushed and pushed, but the game ended 0-0, meaning Olympiacos advanced into the semi-finals with a 1-0 aggregate win. Europa League-wise, we were able to qualify for the main competition, beating FC Twente in the playoff fixtures. We were in Holland for the first leg and managed to run up a huge scoreline after dominating the game to pick up a 5-1 win to take back to Athens. The second leg was much closer, but we still managed to score 3 goals and win the game 3-2 on the night and 8-3 on aggregate. This meant we were in the Europa League main draw, where we were drawn in Group B alongside Bodo Glimt, Rapid Vienna and Lyon. We had a rocky start in the group, but found our feet, winning the last 3 group games to finish top of the group and qualify for the knockout stages. The draw then threw up a huge test in the face of English side West Ham. In the game in London, we took the game to the Hammers, and Anton Calapandreda managed to bag an impressive brace to give us an unexpected 2-0 lead in the tie. Back home, West Ham came to play, but even with Calapandreda missing an early penalty, we were able to battle to a 3-2 win on the night, meaning we won the tie 5-2 on aggregate. This result meant that we advanced to the quarter-finals, where we'd face French side Rennes. In this tie, we were at home in the first leg, and we scored twice in quick succession in the second half to give us a great chance of making the semis. However, Rennes had other ideas, as they took a quick lead in the second leg from the spot. Things went from bad to worse for us, as 𝗕𝗏𝗏 picked up a second yellow card to receive his marching orders, with us playing almost the entire second half with 10 men. The extra man advantage was a real problem for us, as Martin Terrier scored twice in the second half to give Rennes a 3-2 aggregate win and send us crashing out of the competition. However, I'd say this was a hugely successful season, back on top in Greece and a deep run in a continental competition. A return to the Champions League is on the cards for next season, meaning the board have finally backed me financially and give me £8.5 million in transfer budget and over £100,000 a week in our wage budget to make the step up. In this summer window, I was handed a huge problem, as Tottenham stole my goalkeeper for his minimum fee release clause of £5.25 million. We did replace him with Leopold Wallstadt, who we managed to pick up on a free transfer, and I'm actually alright with this change. Also in the free transfer market, we picked up 𝗕𝗏𝗡𝗏𝗏 to be our new right back and Alfie Dorrington to be a great depth option at centre back. We did spend some cash in this window though, bringing in Tete Morente from Valencia for £1.9 million million to play on either wing, and Emanuele Valeri from Roma to be our new left back for £4 million. All 5 of those summer signings go straight into our starting 11 for the season, and we are ready to rock and roll. Competitions wise, it's another upgrade in Europe as we enter the Champions League. We've already qualified for this competition by winning our playoff tie against ＨJK from Finland. We dominated the first leg in Finland despite conceding the first goal of the game. Goals from 𝗕𝗙𝗪𝗓, 𝗕𝗏𝗏 and 𝗬𝗏𝗡 gave us a 3-1 lead in the tie to take home to Greece. Back home, we proved to be far too strong for the Finnish champions as we ran out comfortable 4-1 winners on the night, winning the tie 7-2 on aggregate to qualify for the Champions League phase. Domestically, after winning the league last season, we're predicted to finish in 3rd with title odds of 7-2. Let's see if we can go back-to-back in the league. Before we get into the results for Season 3, I need to tell you about some January transfer business as we picked up 3 players for this team. Shandon Baptiste and James Gomez both joined on free transfers, and we spent an initial 9.5 million on Uruguay international Fabrizio Diaz, who in this world was a Middlesbrough player. Competitions wise, after winning it in Season 1, it seems like the Greek Cup is not our competition anymore. We entered in the 6th round and coasted to a comfortable 7-2 win over both legs, but then came up against AEK in the quarterfinals. AEK took the lead in the first game through Jose Klinger, but we were able to battle back and win the game thanks to goals from Aitor and Andras Spora. However, the second leg did not go to plan. AEK bagged 2 goals in quick succession before we pulled 1 goal back to send the game to extra time. The home advantage really played in AEK's favour as Martin Minchev bagged 2 goals to see us exit the competition at the quarterfinal stage for yet another year. In the league, we put together a great season, winning 29 of our 36 games. It was also made even sweeter by the fact that we beat Olympiacos 2-0 on the final day of the season, so we were presented with the league trophy in our arch rival's stadium. We actually won the title by 5 points in the end as AEK lost their last game of the season. Season 3 marked our return to the Champions League where we'd face Zurich, Bodo Glimt, Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, Athletic Bilbao, Real Betis, Real Madrid and Benfica in the league phase. We picked up 2 wins, 2 draws and 4 defeats in the league phase, but still managed to squeak into the knockouts with 8 points to finish in 24th. We were drawn against Monaco in the playoff round, and despite dominating the first leg at home, the game went into the second leg level. In the south of France, Alexander Golovin scored twice before halftime to give Monaco the lead. We were able to pull 1 goal back late, but despite throwing the kitchen sink at Monaco, we crashed out the Champions League with Monaco only having 2 shots on target in this entire game. How many of you have been FM'd like this in your save? However, the Champions League appearance means just one thing. Money, money, money. And we have just shy of £17 million to improve this team and £70,000 in our wage budget. Let's get at it. This was the summer window with the most money changing hands and the most personnel changes at the club. 8 players left the club, with the biggest departure being Martin Neto, who joined Torino for his minimum fee release clause of £8.75 million. Those 8 departures were filled by 8 new players as we picked up Carl Rushworth, Taylor Harwood-Bellis, Jordan Henderson, Adam Armstrong and Zlatan Sevovic all on free transfers. We also dropped some cash of our own as Sebastiano Laporto joined from Napoli for £1.5 million, Myron Boadu joined from Monaco for £4.1 million, and we dropped an initial 11 million quid to bring in Jonathan Ikoné from Fulham. 5 of those signings come straight into our best 11 for the season, with our best player being a 35-year-old Jordan Henderson. Competitions wise, we have the exact same 3 competitions as last season, but with the added bonus that we didn't have to qualify for the Champions League and will go straight in at the league phase. Even after back-to-back league titles under our belt and 4 players in the Media Dream 11, we're still predicted to finish in 3rd. Let's go prove them wrong here. Let's kick off this season's results by talking about the one competition that we did really badly in. That's sadly the Champions League. In the league phase, we were drawn against Young Boys, Benfica, Bayern, Ajax, Stuttgart, Red Bull Salzburg, Real Madrid and Roma. We won 2 matches in the competition, beating Young Boys on the road and Bayern at home, but the rest of the results were underwhelming. Defeats to Benfica, Ajax, Madrid and Roma saw us finish in 26th place and not even qualify for the knockout stages. However, domestically, things were a very different story. In the league, we were super consistent yet again and even managed to win a staggering 31 of our 36 games. We of course won the league, doing so with 4 games to spare, and finished the season on 96 points. This season actually saw us break records for wins in a season and most points in a season. Happy days. In the Greek Cup, we coasted past our 6th round opposition, and to be honest, I'm not even going to attempt to say their name, before coming up against OFI Crete in the quarterfinals. We won the first leg at home thanks to goals from 𝗪𝗛𝗡𝗚 and Panathinaikos, and extended that lead in Crete as Gomez, 𝗪𝗛𝗘𝗡 and 𝗪𝗛𝗡𝗚 all got on the score sheet to see us win the tie 5-0 on aggregate. That result meant we flew into the semi-finals, where we continued to dominate, winning the first leg at home 4-0 with a James Gomez brace and goals from 𝗪𝗏𝗡 and 𝗪𝗛𝗡𝗚 yet again. The second leg was also pretty straightforward, as we scored 1 goal in each half to advance to the final with a 6-1 aggregate win. Our final opposition was 𝗕𝗨𝗡𝗚 Athens, who finished as runners-up behind us in the league. However, the final was very one-sided, even with 𝗕𝗨𝗡𝗚 scoring the first goal through Mikel Ishak. We pulled level through 𝗪𝗏𝗡𝗚 before 𝗪𝗛𝗚 gave us the lead just before half time. Then Adam Armstrong added 2 more goals in the second half to see us run out 4-1 winners and lift the Greek Cup yet again. With 3 league titles in a row and 2 cup wins in 4 seasons, I think that is Panathinaikos rebuilt.